Hi all, welcome back to the part 2 of the session. So before jumping onto this topic, we have some important announcement. So as promised earlier, so we are to give the two vouchers for the top performers in this course and one UiPath swag. So this selection is purely based on the performance, which includes active involvement in the classes, submitting assignments on time, and keen interest to progress further with UiPath. So here we go with the vouchers for the winners of the UiPath voucher. So they can attend this choice of their certification courses with 50% offer. So let's see the winners. So congratulations, Veena from Australia and Tejaswini from India. Congratulations both of you. And for the UiPath swag, so the winner is Arveti. Congratulations, Arveti. So you guys shown keen interest and for thanks for your active participations and for submitting the assignments on time. So you guys done all hard work for the past 5 weeks. Excellent, and keep up this good work. And finally, thanks to our beloved Vibar for sponsoring these gifts from UiPath.
So congratulations again. You did a wonderful job, right? So before going to the next session, so for a mind refresh, so let's play a small game.
But then mobile I should be able to join, right? AD5, yeah.
Yeah, AD5 HP. You can just scan this code also.
Oh yeah. Coming. Just come.
That's it. Yeah. So start now.
What is the question?
Select the list of process which can be automated.
The list of which can be automated.
So you got one minute to answer. So the fastest will get more points.
How do I answer it here on the website?
Yeah, so it's multiple choice. So more than one may be correct. So
But on the link, I don't see an option to answer it.
really? How about others? Are you able to see the options?
Yes, I'm done, Rajan.
Okay, that's great. Okay, it's time. So that is just a just a trial. So we'll start the quiz now. Okay, so just try now, Veena, if it is working. So this is where it starts actually.
I just see a blank screen.
It will come. It will load. Which among these are types of robots? So attended, unattended, self-attended, and automatic.
I don't see anything still.
Really
Oh
good.
yeah. It has come.
Okay, everybody has answered. That's great. So attended and unattended are the right answers. So all the answers are correct answers. It's highly manual, repetitive, standard electronic readable input and rule based. Let me know if it is working.
Which of the below statements are true?
Are you able to select?
Yes, now it's going. I have to change my position.
Okay.
Design. Which of the below statements are true?
Okay. So most of you have answered. The correct answers are the first, third, and the fourth. How can you create a new variable in UiPath Studio? Excellent. Wow, that's great. Everybody has answered correctly. It's a do while activity. This is the mock exam of your RP associate. So very similar the XML looks like. Right. So 2 got it correct. We might have done wrong in that 0 and 1 and also the do and while activity.
Yes.
Now refreshed, it would be easy for you. But yeah, just to give a glimpse, no need to worry if you make some wrong answers. It's okay. Which of the following statements are true? It's about arguments, variables, and arguments. So everybody got it correct. Excellent. Scope, default value, and variable type are the answers. So you need a photographic memory of how the variable looks like. Yeah, this needed particularly in the logs. log messages, just the concatenating string variable. Good, 4 got it correct. Which of the following are true? We can use a sequence inside a flowchart inside a sequence. We can't use sequence inside flowchart. We can't use flowchart inside sequence. Still, if you got it wrong, bit confusing, I know. So we'll go to the next one. What value will following expression return? String dot format 1 and 0 are friends. It's really testing time. It's really confusing. Still one got wrong. Substring, to know about how substring works, then it would be easy. Yeah, most of you got it correct. This question rewards more for faster points. Which are the steps of RPA implementations? Yeah, it's quite difficult. You need to relate with the life cycle of the RPA implementation. But one got it correct. Best collection data type to store several cake recipes, names and ingredients. So you need to select which is more appropriate, like dictionary, list, or array. So everybody is crying here. So I don't know why Reza is answering like Reza is not in the competition now. Right. Okay. But you got four of them is correct, which is good. Once the body of a loop is executed at least once. Yes, it is do while because do comes first and it executes. Even though it does not satisfy the condition, it just executes the first time. Which activity would be your first choice to loop through all the rows of your data table? For each row, join data tables while yeah, it is for each row, right? Because it's data table, so we go through each of the rows. So that is why for each row is the correct answer. What activities can you use to create a data table from unstructured data? Siddha is so surprised. Can Excel related activities run on a machine that does not have the Excel application installed? This actually came in my RP associate exam. Can Excel related activities run on a machine that does not have the Excel application installed? Yes, but only for XLSX file. It's a quite difficult question actually. What expression would you use to instantiate a dictionary variable that pairs key and value pair? So this you might be knowing it because we saw it in a lot of examples as well. So name is a string and age is the integer. So that is the clue for this. Most of you got correct. That's good. Excellent. Everybody got it right. Nailed it. Final question. Wow, most of you got correct. Here comes the result. Wow. Excellent, excellent. Do anybody need the screenshot of this one? Do you really need this or no? Siddha, congratulations. Well done, mate.
Thank you, Raj. I'll take the screenshot.
Gina, congratulations. You are the second. Reza, where is Reza? He's third, but somehow he's not here. Everybody did well, so no need to panic about this. So this is just to test yourself and see where you are. But there are a lot of still chances, to just to improve on this one. So this is how the real the exam looks like. So in the exam, like you can imagine how this would be right in the real time, just to give a glimpse of how it is. So yeah, if you are prepared enough, so nothing to be panic, you'll be still able to clear that exam. That I really enjoyed.
Okay.
Hope you also enjoyed this. So yes. Silent has mentioned, should have mentioned about surprise test. Yes, it is. Reza, sorry, I think by default I clicked something and you are not in the, you went to the waiting room. Sorry about that. It was a mistake. Yeah, so you got a good position here, Reza. So can you tell your experience how it is? Okay. Anybody want to share their experience, how the exam was, and what do you think about this?
Yeah, it was really good questions. I mean, like it made us think. Some of the questions were really confusing. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that is how the exam was.
Test our skills as well.
Okay. Anybody else?
Raj, nice experience. I mean,
Okay.
you made us to think. Questions were little tricky. Answers were confusing. We have to select properly.
Okay. Yeah, so that is what the main intention of this one. So, like to give you the same experience of how the RP associate exam would be, but it's quite advanced level. Even with this, you can go and attend the advanced exam as well. So if you are able to get everything correctly, so you're ready for the advanced level as well. So that is the main intent. But I think you guys really did it well, because I did not tell you about the surprise test, and you're not prepared. And with this level, you are able to clear this. So definitely you'll be able to do well. Yeah, just go for it. Just apply for that exam, and then take the mock test as well in the UiPath website. On the certification page, there is a mock test as well. Just take that. It will give you more idea. So just before taking the exam. Okay, so we'll go into the final section. So which is the UiPath Studio. Oh, sorry, I mean Orchestrator, right? Yeah. So how many of you really don't know Orchestrator in this group? Don't know anything about UiPath Orchestrator?
I don't know anything.
Okay, thanks for admitting that. Okay, because I thought of depends on your level of experience. I thought of taking this session. So UiPath Orchestrator. So this screenshot shows you something, right? So the person who is standing there, who is orchestrating the music, and in the right hand side there is a robot. So nothing to worry about that. So just this left hand side image will show you. No problem, Reza. That's fine. Absolutely fine. So yeah, so UiPath Orchestrator. So similarly, very similarly, so Orchestrator is one of the component, right? So we know what are the main components in UiPath. So one is Studio. That is the UiPath Studio where we saw so far. We were developing a lot of workflows and everything, and we saw one more as well, which is called Robot, right? So Robot is a separate module. Studio is a separate module. And the final one is the Orchestrator. So these three components are essential to run a robot in a company environment or in your personal laptop or anything in an environment where the business process is executed. So you essentially need all these three components for a successful business process automation or robotic process automation, right? So we already know about Studio, so I'm just removing it, and we know about Robot, and we'll need to know about Orchestrator. So what is Orchestrator? So it is a web application, right? So, and it's mainly like it is either a cloud-based or a on-premise based. So some companies, most of the companies, I mean, they have it in their own environment. It's installed in a server, so which is called the on-premise Orchestrator. And in this link, you can see the cloud, and most of the companies uses cloud as well. So this is called the cloud-based. So whatever it is, we need an Orchestrator. So you will be getting an instance of the Orchestrator, which is a link, right? So with this link, you can able to access the Orchestrator. So the first step in accessing the Orchestrator is you need to type assistant. You need to type assistant in your laptop in the search. So you get the assistant open, right? So just open the assistant, and which will give you a window, right? So this is kind of a interactive application, the assistant. Using this, you can run the processes. So this is called kind of the attended processes, because if I click on the run, so this workflow will run in this machine. So we need this assistant. So this is a separate topic, but let us go through the Orchestrator. So when click on this this little icon, so this says it is connected and licensed. The assistant you can connect with the robot, right? So the robot is kind of the assistant, and the connected, it need to be connected to the Orchestrator. So for that, we need to open this Orchestrator. And so in the Orchestrator, so there are the tenant and the folder concepts. So the main thing is the tenant. So tenant is like in the hierarchical wise, it is the topmost hierarchy or the hierarchy. So it is the topmost one, the tenant, and you can create multiple tenants in the admin panel. So by tenant, I mean you can say within a corporate or a company environment. So there will be several departments. You can give one of the tenant to each of the department wise. Or you can create several environments like development environment or UAT environment or production environment. So you can create different levels of tenant as well. So you can connect with both of them, whichever works for your process. So you can choose that. And within each tenant, there can be multiple folders. So you can you can create that as well, or like I told, the environment wise also you can create the folder. You can structure it accordingly, either the tenant level or the folder level. But tenant is the parent level, and the folders are the sub level. And within the folders, you can also create multiple folders. And the folder has lot of options, like it has automations, queues, assets, and storage buckets, etc. And in the tenant levels also has lot of features like robots. You will be creating the robot here, or you will be giving access to the machines level. So I have given access to my own machine. Similarly, you can create more machines templates, like this machine template or standard template. So many options are there, which you can explore when you play around with the orchestrator. So usually we create the machine template so that I can link to my machine, and every machine is tied to one robot as well. Right. So in this machine, so there is a template name and the machine key, etc. And these machines also will have robots installed. And
The licensing model is for the tenant or for the, it should be for the boats, right?
sorry, can you please repeat?
The license is for the boats or for the tenants?
So the licenses are for the both actually. So it can be attended license or the unattended license. So that is the two thing. And in the tenant, you can tie up to one of the license what you have. Essentially, it is the tenant level. So in the tenant level, you can give access, but it actually applies to the folder level as well, because the tenant is the parent and the child inherits the properties of the parent. So yes, it is essentially the tenant level, but it applies to the folder as well. But you need to
say like two tenants, we can apply the same license for both tenants.
Yeah, you can apply the both the license, yes. And you need to manually do that. So which tenant need to have the access, that you need to decide. For example, if you have one license, so when you are creating the next one, you need to disable the first one and enable the second one.
Okay.
So that those kind of settings you can do it in the admin module. So where in the admin you get all the options to create a lot of tenants. So here you can add any number of tenants, right? And you have a license allocation module. So where you have only two licenses, and I have in the licenses it is assigned.
Okay.
So that is just to view the allocation. To edit the allocation, click on the edit. So you can make it a 0 or 1. So if you have a lot of license, there is nothing to worry about these calculations. But if you have very limited license, the second tenant may not work, because you have just, if you have one license and if you have given all the licenses to one of the tenant, the other tenant will not work. So in that case, you need to make it a 0 and enable that to 1. You got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to disable the tenant, you have the options to disable the tenant. You want to delete the tenant, and there are more tenant settings as well. So you know there are a lot other modules as well in UiPath, such as Test Manager, AI Center, Data Services, and many more things. So you can enable or disable access to that particular tenant. So here I have two tenants, but mostly I'll be using the only one tenant, which is this one. The orchestrator, actions, and process launcher are the modules I have given access. And when I click on this orchestrator, it takes me to that tenant. So these are all quite advanced, but there are certain things you need to know for using the orchestrator correctly. So which is the machines and robot pairing. So you need to do that. You need to create a machine and assign it to a robot, and you need to create a folder. You can create a folder and subfolder in the tenant level only. You can do all these changes. And also you can give access to certain users or remove access, invoke access to users from here, so that you know, when you are doing department wise, you are adding only the correct people there. So you can do all these accesses in this level, the folder level accesses, and you can manage these access. So who is which kind of user will have what type of access? So within the orchestrator itself, there are many type of things like packages, queues, assets. So all these are there. So you can give access for them. Just you can view their profile, like profile, or you can give access to certain folders or limit folders, so that you can do in the manage accesses. Machines, you know how to create the machines and add the robot there. And package, this is one important thing, the package. So when you know, in any
sorry to disturb you, Rajnish.
Yes,
can you please show us how to add robots to the mission? Can you please show us once?
Okay, so to do that, right, so first of all you need to create that machine, and you need to link, you need to connect from your local machine to here, so which is like from the assistant we have done, right? So from the assistant, go to the orchestrator settings, right? So from here, click on this. And, yeah, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, go to the preferences, right? And sorry,
Something, one window has to open. No?
yeah. Why is it not working? Okay, so you can click on this sign out here. I used to get a orchestrator settings, right? Yeah, maybe I can sign out from this one. So it's already connected. So to connect that again, so I need to sign out.
Or else if you're okay, I can show me after the session.
Okay, no problem, no problem. So just I tried it, it should be fine. Okay, so I think it was hiding behind the window, right? So initially it will not be connected, right? So whenever you create a machine template and you have UiPath installed, so the robot will be residing locally to your computer, but it's not yet established its connection with the orchestrator, right? So in that case, whenever you, so yeah, earlier, like in the previous version, you need to connect with the machine key and everything, but in the latest orchestrator, it's very easy. So you just need to connect with this. So cloud.uipath.com. So which on sign in will take you to the UiPath. So here you will be continuing with your email or whatever account you have, just give the username and password. So in this case, I have connected with my Google, so it's just taking me there. So once you have done that, so and then you can find, so you open UiPath, which will bring the assistant to me, right? So it gives me two options because I have two tenants, right? I have tenant 1 and tenant 2. So usually I connect with the tenant 1, and so you can imagine the orchestrator had already a tenant, and inside there is a machine already created. And you just click on continue, it just connects. So the process is as simple as this. All you need to do is that just sign in correctly and create a machine template. So when you create a machine template, I think you need to select an option called create unattended robot or attended robot, I think. I'll show that. So this is how you establish the connection between the robot and the orchestrator. Now I have enabled that. So all I have is only one machine. So here I will show that machine. Yeah, you need to give this option, the production unattended one. So that is how you do this. Or let me try to create a machine, which is a standard machine. Yeah, you just enter all the details here just to create it. So yeah, so this is one way of doing this. So it is quite simple. So when you try creating it, you will understand the template and connecting from your assistant. It is quite easy process.
Okay.
And
Okay, Rajesh.
yeah.
Thank you.
And the packages wise, so that is most important because say you will be playing around with sorry guys, like we'll be just going beyond our time. So I hope that is okay for you. Maybe 5-10 minutes extra, right? Okay, I'll try to cover this quickly. Okay, so the packages wise, so from the dev, you will be moving the code to UAT or UAT to production. So you will be doing a lot of deployments, right? Basically, so how it happens in real time is like you will be given so many URLs for one for test, one for UAT, and one for prod. You will be having the access. So to move the code, you will be either following the CI/CD concept, which is continuous integration and continuous deployment. Using Git, Jenkins. So there are several tools. If you have that in place, it's fine. It will work. Otherwise, traditionally in UiPath, what we do is we just publish the process, right, from the studio. So I'll show you just one of the thing. So which is this project. So if I want to just publish, I just publish this process, right? So this package is called try catch demo. So I just click on next and publish, right? So it should essentially publish the process. It's called version 1.0.1, right? So next time it becomes 2 or 3 and 4 like that. So here I check in the tenants on the packages, whether it is installed, and just to see if there is any new package. I expect, yeah. See, try catch demo. I got the packages, so you can see the versions. So it's just inactive, because it is not assigned to any particular automation or anything. And right. So what I do is like, when I publish the process, it is into shared, right? So I go to the shared folder and just go to the automation. And I can create a process here. I click the try catch demo and just create a package. It will create the demo, the package itself. Now I created that. Now I see the process. It's quite different, like from the machine I last used. It's something different. That's why I'm quite not clear. So I'll go to the automations and see. So it is using the 1.0.1 version, and I can either start this job, right? So it will take me to the job, and I can either schedule this on any specific machines or account. So there is no account, so I need to do all the settings just to make it enable here and then start the job from here. Otherwise, I can make it unattended if I have an unattended machine. So I can deploy it as unattended and schedule it. So it will run in that machine. And your process would be stable enough to run in that unattended mode. So that is what you need to know about the attended process and unattended process, just to make sure everything is working fine, right? And then you publish there. So this is how I created. So once you publish, so what happens, it will be displayed in the assistant. The published process I will be getting in the assistant here, right? So once I try and catch demo, it's awaiting install. So this is like running in the attended mode, because I am a user who is clicking this and just trying to run this solution. So this is running in an unattended mode. So I have published the process now. So think about that it is working in a test environment, and it might have some issues because we did not test it properly. It's just for a testing purpose. I just deployed it. I think something is happening in the background. So to see that, we will go to the jobs and see what it is happening to the job. It is faulted, and we will see the logs, and if there is, oh, see, it has captured, because see, I have the logs. So the throw greater than 100 exception, the value are out of range, so which has logged in successfully, right? So similarly you can do. So this is an attended mode example. So think about the unattended mode. It will run in a remote machine with proper details and all the unattended access. There will be a robot which will run automatically, and we can see the result here. So think about, this is a testing environment. You want to move it to the near UAT environment and production environment. So all you need to do is like from the packages, you can download this package, right? This is the active package because I already started executing. To download this package, so when I click on downloads, so it is into demo try catch. So no, I don't know. So you can just extract and explore it. So anyway, we have this download option. So we have downloaded the NuGet package manager, NuGet package, right? It's a package. So you got a package. So now you got the next link. So you think the same link as the next link. So what you got to do, you'll be going to the tenant of that particular link, right? And in the packages, you will be uploading this package. So the package which I got, so this one, so you will upload the same package and just click on upload. But since there is no package, there is already existing package, it says it's already exist. But if not, it will upload the next version of the package, right? So that is how you do that. And then you'll continue with the same steps, which is like creating the automation and creating the process and mapping, like scheduling using a job. So all these things you'll be doing, and the logs will be logged so that during the execution you can check the logs. And more options are like in the tenant level, there will be packages and webhooks. Like you will not be using these webhooks much, but like when you want to integrate some third-party application with this, so on the API level there has to be some integration, so which is done using the webhooks, but not much important for RP associates. And license gives you options to see how much is used, how many license are utilized, and how many are remaining. You can analyze those options here. Alerts give you some the heartbeat issues with the robot. If it's not working, you get some error or fatal error or something, and you have more settings option. So these kind of things are not available in the folder level. Folder is more process oriented, right? So it gives more things about the automation process, jobs, etc. And it gives options to monitor. So I remember about our slides. So when it give the introduction, so these are the capabilities of the orchestrator, which is provisioning, control and license distribution, running automation jobs in unattended mode, automation storage and distribution, monitoring and interconnectivity. Interconnectivity is webhook, monitoring is monitoring the status of the processes, the robots and the jobs. All those things are monitoring. Automation storage is and distribution. So UiPath, like orchestrator itself, has its own database, and all the tenant level and the folder level, everything comes from the database. So it has its own storage. In addition to that, it has queues and storage buckets, etc. And running automation job in unattended mode is the ultimate aim that most of us has, right? And this is the process that I just walked through. From the project, we just publish the process. It becomes a package, and the package is then tied up to the folder level using the automation. We just mapped it to the folder level, and from there it paired with the folder, which became the processes. So the actual process is the package plus the folder is the process. There you can either use the trigger or some scheduling to schedule the unattended bot. So the next level is the unattended, so which is down below the number 5 and 4. So the orchestrator is like, as you told, the initial, the musician who orchestrates the instruments, right? So now this orchestrator has the package and it knows where it comes from, and in the settings it knows which robot will be executing this, because we are the one who is setting. So you can see the developer here who just manually configures which machine will be executing this process. So now the orchestrator knows which will execute. When you start the job, so orchestrator will instruct the machine and the corresponding robot to execute the process. So that is what happening in the orchestrator. So it's just that kind of a typical module. So it has both attended and unattended. Attended, from the assistant, you can click on the button, or from the studio and click on a button. If it executes, it's called attended. And if it's going somewhere in the server UAT or the production server, it executes without any help of the human intervention. So those are called unattended. So in the tenant level, you can control all the users, machines, license, webhooks, and packages. So which we saw already in the tenant level, all the settings. And in the folder level, there are assets, storage buckets, queues, triggers, and processes. So these are all more process oriented, and that's it about it. So I'll just go through the folder level as well. So you know about asset. So this you will be using, like, you can store the credentials, you can store a folder file path or something like that. In the assets, you can have any number of assets here. And the storage buckets is, again, it's a kind of a file. So this is some concept which is very recently introduced to UiPath, mainly to replace the files that we are using from the folders, which is quite risky to use it from the folder. For example, in not a right example, but if you are targeting the advanced level in the RE framework, we are using a config file. So we can replace the config file here itself. You can keep it here, and so you can use it. And testing is a separate module, which is not RB associate topic. It is quite advanced level topic. So there is a UiPath test suite available in UiPath, which gives a lot of options for testing, creating test cases and executing testing. It's quite interesting there. And yeah, so we have covered most of it. So you know now robot, you know UiPath, you know orchestrator, you know studio, you know packages, you know folders, you know how to tie up the folders with the packages and create automation processes, and you know assets and queues as well. Queues, like you can use it for uploading transactional processes, transactional items here, and also get it from the queue, and you can execute from the processes. So I think we saw it in some other example as well. Yeah, but it's a good topic to explore, queues and assets. So if you talk about orchestrator, I will say it's a tenant level, folder level, which is and processes level, and queues, assets, and jobs, and more processes. Yeah, that is what all the important topic in RPA associate. And there are even more advanced topics like libraries, creating a libraries, storage buckets, and all these things are quite advanced level topics, which is not essential for RPA associate level. But it's good to get started, like connecting the robot and establishing the connection, and try creating an unattended robot and attended robot, and try see the difference between them. Yeah, mostly it should be, see, if it is, you need to think about the foreground processes and background processes to achieve a seamless automation. For example, like the foreground processes will be like click, and all the mouse events will be the foreground process. The background process, like all the hardware events or the API levels, will be the background processes. So try creating more background processes rather the foreground process, because this fails in unattended mode. There will be nobody to support in the unattended mode, right? It will be quite difficult to to debug that. So create processes that supports the background automation. So you need to Google and or explore this topic, that is the foreground automation versus background automation, before you take the exam. So yeah, I think that's all about it. I want to cover what I want to cover in Orchestrator. You saw a simple demo of how it works. So that's it about Orchestrator, and I think that also leads to a small example or introduction to the next advanced level. You might have got some insight, and which triggered you some more ideas to explore more topics, right? I hope you like this session and understand the UiPath Orchestrator. Do you have any questions now? I request kindly everyone to switch on your camera and unmute yourself. It's time for you to talk and just refresh. It's end of the session. So yeah, I would like to see, talk to people and see you guys, just to take a snapshot as well to share it to everyone.
Oh my God, snapshot. I mean,
Yeah, see, this is really amazing session. The amazing team got. Yeah, I really enjoyed. Yeah, teaching you, and I at the same time I learned from you with your questions and everything. And yeah, so after this session, I used to work on your questions, and I also learned a lot from you. So it's really amazing. It's all give and take. So Reza, Zita, and Mridul, I did not see you guys. So,
I just turned on my camera.
thanks, Zita.
I hope I'm visible to.
Reza, are you still there, or you're waiting for the recording? So some guys, like they once they join, they know that we get the recording. So not much.
Rajnish, I have one question.
Yes, Reza. Go ahead.
So, as part of our job, like while using the UiPath,
Yeah.
like will everyone be using this UiPath orchestrator? Like everyone, or is like any specific admin like person will be responsible to do the orchestrator?
Everybody will be using this orchestrator. Almost 90% of them will be using this orchestrator, because as a developer, but see, there are
Okay, we'll be knowing what is priority and what should be done over the task. Okay,
be
is it
testing
like
it, but you'll be getting the RPA developer level access. So based on who you are, like you will be getting those kind of accesses. So RPA developer will be getting us access, and RPA admin will be getting several different access. So there are different roles and responsibilities. So definitely you'll be getting access to orchestrator. Most of the cases, 99% you'll be getting that, and you'll be deploying the solution.
And we'll be using it.
Yeah,
we'll be using it and assigning the licenses. Everything will be done by the individual.
Yeah, see, if your program want to use assets and some credentials from the orchestrator, so definitely you want to try it there, right? So anyway, you will be using it.
Okay, got that.
Hey, Mridul, you have any questions?
Rajnish, Yes, I do have one questions like how many sessions we have left to cover like in
So this is the final session. So see,
okay.
now it's a very beautiful end of this year. So you have successfully done this course. So I'm planning to send you all certificates to all of you from to automate anything. So this with certificates that you are capable of doing the RP associate certification. So I have seen few of you have cleared the UiPath advanced in the academy itself, which shows yeah, Tejaswini, for example, have done that. Congratulations. So you all are capable now. So to take that exam.
Congratulations, Tejaswini.
Yeah. All you need is few more
Thank you.
practice. So see, all this 5 session is more than enough to refresh each of the topic. Yeah, if you take few more practice exams like the one I given today on the quiz, and there is in the UiPath Academy also there are a lot of resources at the end of each section, so you can take that and prepare yourself. So this is the final session. So we have covered all the topics that is necessary.
Yeah, with this note, I would like to say that you have covered all the topics very well and structured very well. So like each and every point that was covered in the sessions, but like it be explained and understood easily.
Oh, fantastic.
It will definitely gonna help us in a longer way and to clear this exam,
Yeah.
as well as to understand the real time concept that you have shown in the all the sessions, like all the 5 sessions.
Oh, excellent. Nice to hear from you, Mridul. So
Yeah.
keep sharing that in some platform like LinkedIn as well, so that some other can be also
Sure, will do.
they can also benefit from this kind of comments. Yeah. Anybody else?
So much. Yeah,
One
we'll
more
do.
question, Rajni.
Yes, Anuja, go ahead.
Yeah, like although if we are not working real time in UiPath, will we be able to complete the advanced UiPath advanced certification too?
Honestly speaking,
Or else we need to get a sense of the real time work experience?
yeah, you need to get that sense of real time, because it's not that easy exam. The advanced,
Okay.
it's quite tough exam. So you need
Okay.
to practice across and do few projects of your own, similar to the one you do in the
The work
advanced.
experience is required, that's it.
Yeah, definitely. You need at least some 2 to 3 months. You need to have some hands-on. Yeah, but for that, UiPath, like ToAutomate has a platform to do that. There is a separate program, the professional transformation program is there. So where we used to train them, and they used to work with me or someone else and get that kind of experience.
That's great.
Yeah, so there are programs available. So you need to register in our website and then contact someone from ToAutomate anything, and they will contact you.
Sure.
We are also providing that kind of experience platform, so where they work in real-time projects and get that experience. And many of them have got jobs as well through that kind of platform.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ailaj. Anybody else want to share their feedback or experience of this program, or any negative points as well is fine. So I take it as a compliment to.
The only negative thing will be the font size, Rajanish. It's like, while we are again replaying the recordings, the problem is with the.
Okay, you need to buy a big screen. Yeah,
That
so
is the one
thing I got it. So there is some problem with my settings in my computer. So even though I make it bigger, so the next time it becomes the normal one. Yeah, definitely, I'm working on my environment settings. So which shows, yeah, I'll take care of that. I noted this point.
Okay, then. Thank you.
Thanks, Ailaj. How about anyone else? Arveti, you are so silent today.
Hi Rajesh, I wanted to change the profile from, if we are using in UiPath Studio, Studio X to Pro.
Okay.
In Orchestrator, how to allocate that license?
Don't choose in Orchestrator. Just you need to choose that in UiPath Studio.
Yeah, in Teams, if you choose, we will get. In Orchestrator, we can't allocate.
No, in Orchestrator, so you will be allocating the license to that profile.
To change the.
Yeah. So actually, this settings comes in the UiPath Studio. So you want to work as a studio, right? Studio X. You want to change from Studio to Studio X, right?
Studio to Studio Pro or Pro,
Okay.
anything other profile.
There is this option, the settings
Yeah,
and this profile, and you.
Yeah, change.
So here you can change, right?
Yeah, in Orchestrator we can't do.
So no need to do that
from Orchestrator.
No, there is no need to do from the Orchestrator actually. So why do you want to go to Orchestrator? So it's just to control the robots and the processes, right? So nothing to do with the Studio license. So yeah, actually, you have some options there as well. So I think you can explore there. So definitely there is something, but I don't think that will control this one because, just go to the admin and go to the licenses. Okay, so actually what do you want to achieve out of this?
I think just I wanted to know some of them, someone in forum, they mentioned, that's why I asked.
Okay, yeah, actually there is options to choose the Studio Pro and Studio X. You can give accesses to the tenant level. For the user level, you can give the access. But I don't think it will really impact your Studio access. So when you start Studio, if you want Studio X, you can straight away go Studio X and you can create program. So main intention is to create program from Studio, right? So you can choose whatever you want. But if I really know what you are exactly trying to achieve, so I can advise based on that. I have seen those options somewhere, but I really didn't try that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but for me, I worked on Studio X and Studio Pro. I used to change the license type and work on that. And you can also use the Studio X programs in Studio as well. Yeah. Any other questions or anything? Arvetri?
No questions, Ratnesh.
Okay. So what do you think about this session? And you have attended all this session and sent a lot of assignments. So how was your experience and what do you think?
I have not sent the email automation and PDF automation assignments.
Sorry?
I didn't send email and PDF automation assignments.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. But you've done most of that.
I'm busy with my college work, so.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you got any experience in RPA so far?
When I was in Capgemini, I worked on Orchestrator, just monitoring the bots and checking the logs.
Okay.
That's it. Nothing more than that.
Okay. So what you are trying to achieve out of this session?
Good pathway. I have to do more practice and do the certification.
Okay. That's good.
Due to lack of time.
Okay.
I was not.
Hope you get
trying to
do. In the new year, you get more time and you are able to clear the certification.
Yeah, I'm planning.
All right.
Rajneesh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
I have one more query, Rajneesh.
Yeah.
Assume that we have an unattended robot. Okay, we have one virtual machine.
Okay.
We're executing one process.
Okay.
So when we trigger a process from Orchestrator, how this works? Like, will it be logging into signing into that mission? Mission means VM.
Yeah.
Then executing the process and then doing the sign out. How it executes, Rajneesh?
So
assume that we have more than 2 schedulers. Yeah. Please.
Okay. So see, once you have established the connection, right? A virtual machine is connected to a studio. Sorry, to the orchestrator, which means it is you are giving the access to log in to that virtual machine. So you have already enabled the access because the orchestrator knows the machine key and all the details of the machine to log into that to that virtual machine. So now you have connected to the orchestrator and telling it, assigning it one of the process to run in the orchestrator. So when you are running it for starting the job or scheduling the job, so at the specific time, it logs into that machine for sure, first thing. And second thing, it says the connection is established, the robot is available and the heartbeat is working for the robot. So second thing, the connectivity should be there for the robot to the orchestrator from that machine, from that virtual machine. So that is the second thing you want to know. And third thing, so it has all the prerequisite, which is access to the folders, access to the files and everything it has. So first thing, it deploys the package there and start executing from the package. So yeah, in that way it works. So what
finally it will do sign out, right?
Yeah, it doesn't do sign out, but you don't even realize like whether the robot is inside or not. Because see, manually, if you go and see at that time, it will still allow you to log in. The VM just allow you to log in. So if you do login, you can see robot is executing, but you're not able to disturb the process. That is why I told about the background processes. So even though if you disturb it, it should not stop because it's in a virtual machine. It's a production environment. It will keep on running there. So by chance, if you log in, so there are two users inside that machine. One is you and the robot. Right. So you should come out of the session. You no need to worry about the log out or login. So that will take care of it. So it will end the session. Actually, basically, it will establish a session. Finally, it will terminate the session, which means it's technically it's a logout, but it will disconnect the session.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, good question, but it's quite advanced level. So yeah, I think you can take the advanced certification.
No, Rajnish, I'm giving interviews. I'm trying for a UiPath job.
Okay.
So they're asking these questions in the interview. So I thought of checking with you.
No problems. So most of my sessions will have some examples or real-time examples, which will be mostly useful for you. And if you keep listening again and again, there will be some points which may help you to clear those interviews. But you can schedule a separate session with me if you have any other questions.
Thank you very much, Rajnish. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Any more questions, anyone? So thank you very much, guys. So it's a great end to this new year, this year. And the new year, like you can start with more like a good thing in UiPath, like make a career, try to make a career change in RPA, UiPath, and yeah, get more hands-on skills and a lot of things. A lot of success comes to you through UiPath. So that is what I wish for you all. Yeah, thank you very much, and happy new year. Yes, stay blessed and stay happy. Wish you all the best.
Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
Yeah, same to you, Raj.
Thanks all.
Thank you, Rajnish.
Thank you.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you all.